Welcome to the Best of Central Florida. I am Justin Clark. I will never forget the year was 2002. I was in law school in Boston, hanging out at the Beantown pub to be exact. A classmate came over and introduced himself to me. He said he was from Orlando. I was shocked. I thought Orlando was theme parks, chain restaurants, maybe a water park or two. Who would have thought that now, 20 years later, I would have lived 15 years here? Who would have thought I would raise my two little girls here? Who would have thought I would fall in love with Central Florida? It's a hidden gem. The great restaurants, professional sports teams, booming art scene, the Wekiva River, the beaches, and yes, even the theme parks. From Lake Mary to Lake County, the villages to Palm Bay, this is the best of Central Florida. Today we explore the beaches of Central Florida, as always joined by the beautiful Michaela Nichols. Hi Michaela, how are you?
I'm doing
Be
good.
honest with me, how many days a year do you spend at the beach?
More days than I'd like to admit.
Is that right?
Yes.
So that's a lot of days, I would think, huh?
Yeah.
I often get asked, why would I move down to Florida and live inland? Well, my obvious answer to that is I have hundreds of miles of beaches within an hour drive of my front door. I can live in a city, but have an umbrella and my drink within the hour. Take that, Nebraska. I can drive to a beach an hour away with a rocket launch. I can drive to a beach another hour away that has the Super Bowl of motorsports. We can surf, fish on a pier, or just sit at a beach bar and drink and watch the ocean, all an hour away. But today, Michaela, we must narrow it down to just 3. How are we going to do this?
It's going to be tough.
And when we return, it's going to be tough, no doubt about it. But when we return, we will do just that. We will tell you the best beaches of Central Florida.
There are so many wonderful beaches in Central Florida, but one beach reigns above them all. Our critic's choice is Cocoa Beach. There are so many amazing events to do and see while you're in town. And speaking of events, I have an amazing guest here today, Mr. Steve Curtis, the throttle man for the Miss Geico boat racing team. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Michaela. Great to be here.
Glad to have you here. So tell me, what is a throttle man?
I am a follower. I race offshore powerboats, and they're, the boats that I race is like 50 foot long, sponsored by Miss Geico, the insurance company, and we go out there and we race in the ocean. And there's quite a lot to do in there because you've got to keep the thing balanced and flying level and things like that. So there's 2 of us in there. There's one guy who steers and navigates, and in my case this weekend I'm racing with Travis Pastrana, who's that pretty famous guy who does crazy stuff on motorcycles and jumps out of planes without parachutes, and myself, and I do the throttling. So I do the speed of the boat and the trim of the boat. So basically I try and, when it jumps out of the water, get it to fly nice and level, not go over backwards and roll over and things like that. So that's my job in the boat.
Oh my goodness, that seems quite difficult.
It has its moments. It's, once you've dedicated yourself to a wave, you're dedicated to the wave. But, it really is a big team sport as well. There's a lot of guys, excuse me, there's a lot of people around the team. We've probably got 21 people that work within the team, and probably on event we've got 10 people showing up. So, it really is a team effort. So although I'm lucky enough, I think, to be in the boat, and some people don't think I'm lucky to be in the boat, but I think I'm lucky enough to be in the boat, we've got a fabulous team around us that keep everything together.
Incredible, it sounds like it. How excited are you to race in Cocoa Beach?
Well, with what's gone on over the last year with the COVID-19, we had a very limited race schedule last year. We just did a few races, and it really wasn't, a big deal at all. The events, no spectators. So I'm really looking forward to going to Cocoa Beach for that reason, and also because I love Cocoa Beach. It's a fantastic place. It's, the surf capital of Florida, so you'd think, well, that's not great for powerboat racing. But for us, it's great because we run up and down the beach, about 4 miles up and down the beach. And we're always catching the waves on the side. So from a spectator's point of view, you're very close to the boats. They're jumping in the air, you know, out of control pretty much half the time. And, you know, there's a lot of racing going on. So it's really a fun day.
That's incredible. So you said the race takes about an hour, but there's a lot of events going on during the weekend, correct?
Yeah, the build-up of the race starts on Friday, and there's parties and boat parades and block parties and all sorts of stuff going on all weekend. But boats actually testing and on the race water will be on Saturday and Sunday. So it's lit, and there's lots of different classes as well. There's not just the class that I'm in, which is Class 1, which is the largest class. There's other classes. So I would imagine, you know, there'll probably be 75 boats there competing. There's also the jet skis and the jet bikes and the aqua bikes. So, you know, it's a massive event, so there's stuff going on in the water all the time.
Definitely, it sounds like it. So what can people expect when they come to a race?
Lots of boats, obviously. They try and make it a big family affair. The idea is you can go and look at the boats. We don't have a lot of concealment, so everyone can wander around, touch the boats, meet the people, get autographs, get posters, t-shirts, etc. And then when the race is going on the beach, most people are just having a fun beach day, but there just happens to be all these boats zapping across in front of them. There's obviously spectator boats you can go out on, but the best place to watch is, I think, at one of the ends of the beach, by the pier there, right in the center of Cocoa Beach, or get by one of the corners and stuff and see these boats come down. It's pretty cool to watch if you haven't seen it before, for sure.
Definitely, I definitely will have to check it out. So tell me a little bit, what made you say, I want to get into boat racing, and more importantly, I want to race at Cocoa?
Well, getting into boat racing goes back many years, and I used to race motocross bikes. I was a European champion and on 125s, and I ended up having an accident like most motocross riders, hurt my hands. And my father was into boats. He was racing boats and had a boat building company. So when I realized I couldn't race motorcycles anymore, or not for the foreseeable future, it was like when I was 16 and I felt my world was over, I ended up helping my dad at the boatyard and working on the boats and seeing these guys testing, and said, well, I can do that, and did quite quickly. So that's what got me into it. So it's, I've got to thank my father and my parents for that. And then at Cocoa Beach, it's the first race in our schedule for this season. We got the Class 1 World Championship. We finish off in Key West at the end of the year. So, it's very exciting to be there, and that's why we're going.
Definitely. Well, I cannot wait to head out to Cocoa, and let's head off to the races. We will be right back after this short break.
Want to know where the best breweries are? How about the best pizza and the best beaches? Find out each week as we explore a new best of. It's the Best of Central Florida with Justin Clark every Sunday at noon, right here on WKMG TV6.
You have spoken, the people have spoken. People's choice for best beach of Central Florida goes to our good friends at St. Augustine Beach. I'm proud to be joined by Richard Goldman, CEO and President of St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra, Florida's historic coast. Welcome to the show, Richard. How are you?
Thank you. Great to be here.
42 miles of beaches. But when I think about your beautiful stretch of beach, I think about history first. Tell me about the history up there.
Well, when you think about it, we're really where European influence in America began. 1565, 40-something years before Jamestown, and, well, in fact, the first Thanksgiving was right there in St. Augustine.
And you don't think of that when you think Florida. You don't necessarily think history. You think a lot of people think strip malls and other things, but
sure.
I mean, it's one of the oldest places in the country, I would say.
It is, and everything's authentic. You can really go there and touch 17th century structures. The fort, of course, the Castillo de San Marcos. It's a wonderful place to be.
A lot of foodies out there. I think that the restaurant scene in your neck of the woods, underrated. What would you say about the restaurants?
Well, Southern Living magazine rated it the top foodie destination in the South.
Really?
So I don't know about the ratings. So it's good, pretty good.
Maybe not underrated then.
Maybe not underrated. But it's really, really terrific. What's happened in the last 10 years is chefs have found the destination. They like the fact that we don't have chain stores downtown. And so they can really grab the fresh seafood, the fresh produce, and invent things. and the audience likes it.
I spent a lot of time in Palm Coast, and I think about that ride from Palm Coast all the way up to St. Augustine. It might be the most beautiful drive in the United States. For someone who has not made that ride on, is that A1A, I guess, right
A1A,
there,
right?
If you haven't made that ride on A1A, how would you describe it? Right by Marineland, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, whatever time of the day, but I love when the sun's coming up, making that trip with the sun on the side, coming in through the window with the surf and the birds. It's really just gorgeous.
You know, when a lot of people think of the panhandle of Florida, they think of the white sand, even some on the West Coast, which we really weren't considering West Coast beaches here. And then the sand, if you think about Miami, different. There's something different about the sand where you are. It's more white, almost West Coastish. Am I right here? Am I onto something?
No, it's very much like that. You're right, Justin. We have little patches where the coquina, which is crushed shells, are, but that's also where you find the shark's teeth. And people love to do that. I know you've got children and they love to find shark's teeth. My kids do too.
Yeah, exactly. When I lived in Boston for the longest time, I would make fun of the tourists that would take the trolley. I'll be honest with you. However, there's maybe nothing better. A great afternoon going to St. Augustine, getting in that trolley and just making the 15 stops around there. What a great way to see St. Augustine, the city.
It's terrific because you can listen to the guide. He or she gives you a great picture of what everything is and where it is. Then you can get on and get off as you see fit. It keeps you from wearing your feet out for sure. But it is a 16th century town, so it's walking. It was designed for ox carts and feet.
I'm semi-retired from golf. My 8-year-old and 3-year-old daughters made me. However, when I think Ponte Vedra, I think golf. Why is that?
Well, it's the home of the PGA Tour, and of course the Players' Championship, known as the 5th Major, is played there every March. And, you know, I appreciate when your kids are young, you don't want to take the time, but we'll get you back.
I don't know if want is the right word. It's I don't know that I'm allowed to. I would have to ask their permission, you know?
That's the way it is at my house.
But you're golfing now or no?
I am.
Yeah?
I am getting out now. My kids are grown. My wife sometimes runs me out of the house. Yeah, I'm getting to play a little more.
Are you one of these guys that swings easy and hit it right down the middle and beat me by 20 strokes every round?
That's the guy I wanted.
Okay, I gotcha. What about, where do I stay? So a lot of places you get Airbnb. Some places it's hotel oriented. Some places you just rent condos. What's the best way for me to come spend a weekend up in the St. Augustine area?
It really depends on what you like to do. We have vacation rentals up and down the coast right on the beach. But we also have a brand new Embassy Suites resort right on the ocean, right next to Anastasia State Park, one of the top beaches in the world. And then, of course, the 5 Diamond Ponte Vedra Inn and Club. So if you want something very, very luxurious and amazing food, that's a great place too.
Don't take my word for it. You must go visit the beaches of St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra. Amazing. It's like no other part of Florida. I love it. It's certainly one of my favorite parts of Florida. Richard Goldman, thank you so much, buddy. That was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
I'll be seeing you soon, by the way.
Excellent.
Are you buying brunch or I'm buying? How are we going to do this?
Come on over.
Okay, he's got it. Thank you so much, St. Augustine. Up next, it is Justin's choice for Best Beach of Central Florida as the show continues. Finally, it's time for my portion of the program. Justin's choice for Best Beach of Central Florida goes to Daytona Beach. And I have a great reason for this, too, by the way. But first, let me welcome from Daytona Beach, Lori Campbell-Baker. You're with the Daytona Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau. Welcome. How are you today?
Thank you so much. Doing great.
2 of my favorite memories with my family, I have an 8-year-old daughter, 3-year-old daughter, are literally sitting outside out at the Hilton. There's a steakhouse there called Hyde Park. Sitting outside, the band shell is there, the music's playing, it's summertime. What a beautiful memory and a beautiful experience. What kind of concerts do we have going on this summer?
So one, you're going to remember that forever, and your kids will too. This summer, every Saturday night, we have the Bandshell concert series. So we have tribute bands, all the bands you know and love, all the words that you can crank out and just sing really loudly. The kids love that every single time. So Saturday night, and fireworks. So we'll be having fireworks off the pier. It's an amazing setup. You're right there on the Atlantic Ocean, and the Ocean Walk Village has plenty of restaurants and places to go and shop, and it's a good time.
Memory number 2 for me, and maybe unexpected, I guess. There's a minor league baseball team there, and I'm a sports guy. And it's really hard to drag my daughters to sporting events, but the Daytona Tortugas,
yes.
minor league baseball team, a fun family atmosphere, so many events for the kids, so many things for the kids to do, but also an inexpensive way to spend time with your family.
Super inexpensive, right there in downtown Daytona Beach. It's at the Jackie Robinson Ballpark, which is a historic ballpark, an amazing facility. And again, you sit in the seats on the west side. You can look at the Intracoastal Waterway and watch the yachts go by as you're watching the Daytona Tortugas baseball. It's fabulous.
You know, in a world where things are expensive, it's expensive to take the family anywhere. That is one of the most inexpensive ways to have a great 3 hours with the family. Everything is affordable there, but it's fun too. You're watching live baseball. These are professional athletes.
Absolutely. They do a great job with themed nights that they'll bring you out with all sorts of ways to entertain the family and the kids. And you're right, it's not expensive. You'll have a great memory, and you can have dinner downtown prior to, wander the shops. It's all very walkable in downtown Daytona Beach.
Now, I'm not the only one that's kind of grown up around Daytona Beach. This one over here, I'm not going to call you the spoiled rich kid or anything, but you've spent a lot of your childhood as a second home in Daytona as well.
I have, yes. I've been so fortunate to go up there like every weekend. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Grew up going to like the NASCAR races and going to Cowlicks and like all the Daytona things. Love it.
I know Cowlicks too.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Michaela was dying to ask me, do you know if there's going to be any NSYNC or 98 Degrees cover bands there this summer at all?
You know what? I haven't looked at the lineup, but I guarantee you're going to like it because every weekend it seems like there's a band that you want to try out. And they're all bands that are so close to, you know, what you remember. They really nail it, so it's fun.
Incredible. You know, I actually made a mistake. We think that is like new music. That's probably old school for her now that I think about it.
It's
You know
like
what I mean?
retro kind of.
I love old school.
Yeah.
Not to call anyone a little older, but
Whatever.
Whatever.
So how is business over there? We hear about this pandemic, of course, the last year and a half. What's going on in Daytona?
So we have rebounded nicely. You know, the fact that the beaches are wide open, sometimes 500 feet wide at low tide. You can park at the beach. We've got plenty of parking. We've got wide open beaches. There's driving in certain areas, very slow, windows down, you know, no texting while you're driving. So there's a little something for everybody. So if you have a minivan, right, full of beach toys and surfboards and all that, you got that. We can bring you down on the beach and you can unload. You can pitch a tent, you can do a barbecue, all kinds of possibilities. But if you would love to just be in a beachside park that has barbecue grills and restrooms and showers and all that, we got that too. So 23 miles of amazing beaches, and each beach has a little bit of a different personality. Area where the band shell is, and there's a water park right there, Daytona Lagoon, and lots of restaurants. You can do that, but you can also be at Ponce Inlet, Wilbur by the Sea, and kind of have the beach to yourself. If you want that experience, we've got that for you.
You know, a little bit of a dichotomy, I think, in Daytona, because yes, you have the NASCAR racing, you have Bike Week, but then you also have just really fun family beach time with great restaurants, and I think maybe the restaurant scene there is even getting better. Tell me about the restaurants.
It has expanded a lot. I would say in the last 5 to 7 years, we've added a lot of fresh new restaurants. And not chains, a lot of independents, a lot of amazing chefs, a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily think, and people are now coming to Daytona Beach and checking out the restaurants.
Name your favorite restaurant in 5 seconds, Daytona Beach.
Krabby's.
Actually, I love Krabby's too.
Or Krabby Joe's. Anything with Krabby.
Anything? Yeah. Oh, you just like crab. Yeah. Okay. Is it the lobster or is it the crab legs? What do you go for?
Krabby's has an amazing lobster tail. Just FYI, I love it.
Spoiled rotten.
Downtown Tia Corey's, an independent, so good. But there's just so many. So we have within the county, we have 5 different downtown areas. And several of them are right there in the Daytona Beach area. Highly recommend, because I love walkable. I don't know if you do.
Yeah,
I love walkable and unique shops and restaurants. We got a lot of that.
Do I go Airbnb or do I go hotel? Daytona Beach, where do I stay?
We have almost 200 hotels. So a lot of areas are
200?
not. Yes.
Wow.
A lot of areas don't have that many hotels. So we have vacation rentals. We have a lot of great hotels. The Hard Rock Hotel is in Daytona Beach. The Hilton is right there by the bandshell. The Shores Resort and Spa, and so many great independents and flags. So whatever your vibe is for your family, we got that.
Awesome. Lori Campbell Baker, Daytona Beach. That was great. Thank you so much for coming on. Please go see her over in Daytona Beach.
Please come.
How many miles of beaches again?
23 miles.
Oh, yeah. 23 miles. Thank you so much for
gorgeous.
being here.
Thank you so much.
Michaela, excellent work today. How did we do? That was a tough one.
That was a great one.
Did we
I'm
do
excited.
okay?
So many beaches to go to.
If you can only choose one, surf, swim, or drink at the beach, what do you decide?
Swim.
Swim?
Swim.
I thought we were going to be at the beach bar together.
Yeah, well, there's always that too.
Excellent job, Mac, as always. And all of our winners today, thank you so much for joining us. But most importantly, thank you for spending your weekends here with us on the Best of Central Florida. We'll do it again next week, next Sunday at noon. Best of Central Florida.